this is Miss Kenyon. I just wanted to do a quick video to show you how to log on to NewsELA. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to type in NewsELA, which students like to point out to me it should probably be called NewsELA, but I started calling it NewsELA and I have never stopped. So you can call it whatever you want. So I'm going to NewsELA and it took me to my educator account. So hold on because I have to switch users. So you have to be logged in. So you're going to go there, you're going to click sign in. You're going to choose Google, and you're going to want to choose your school account. So my school account, my student school account is called Cat Kenyon. You can probably guess why. And I'm going to go ahead and log on to NewsELA. And here you will see if it says English Kenyon, that's an assignment that I did for English students. There might also be assignments from your other teachers that relate to their subjects. So the great thing about NewsELA is if you do a reading assignment in science, math, or social studies, you get credit off that teacher for that reading assignment, but you also get credit off of me for doing a reading assignment. So even while you're not in English classes, you can be getting points towards your future English class, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and click on an assignment that I assigned, okay? And I have always give you directions. I shouldn't say always because who knows, I might eventually mess up. But the directions for this tell us the reporters are supposed to be unbiased. This means they're not supposed to show their opinions. This article has a clear bias. Highlight the words that show bias and annotate to explain what the bias is. So I'm going to go ahead and click to open it. And I'm going to scroll down and start reading, okay? So I know I'm looking for bias in this article. I have the directions up here, right? President in a stunning announcement to lift the country deeper into uncertainty before the presidential election, downplaying the threat. Okay, so I'm going to highlight downplaying the threat, okay? And as soon as I select it with my mouse, this comes up, the annotation tool comes up, and I can choose a color, okay? So downplaying the threat shows very specific feelings about how Trump has behaved, because some people might not think he was downplaying it. So this shows a bias against Trump, okay? And it automatically saves, and I can see that. And just by you doing that, that would have earned you 2 points. 1 point for the highlighting and 1 point for the annotating. So you can keep going and highlight more. I'm looking to see if there's anything else. That I can highlight real quick. It marks a blow for the president, who has been trying to convince the public that that the pandemic is behind him. I'm going to say that is anti-Trump. And now that I've already established that it's a bias against Trump when it's red, I can be a little bit shorter about just saying anti-Trump there. And now I have that. So now I have earned 4 points. If you want 10 points for annotating, you need to go back through and highlight 3 more things and write about 3 more things. And that gives you those 10 points. Now I'm going to go to the activities. And I'm going to go to the writing prompt first. And we're going to choose, I have a mess of classes because I've done so many from practicing. Hopefully you only have 1 here, but if you're doing it for me, I would prefer if you chose your English class. Okay, so I better move my little box. So it asks, does bias make this article a less trustworthy source of news? Use examples from the text to support your opinion. So the first thing I do is I restate the question. And I am super lazy, so I'm going to come up here and I'm going to copy this. And I'm going to say the bias either makes this article a less trustworthy or does not. The bias makes this article a less trustworthy source because it shows the author might be leaving out pro. I'm not going to say pro because that's a little bit conversational. I want to be more academic. So leaving out facts that support Trump. For example, and then I'm going to go see who said, oh, this is by the Associated Press, right? So the Associated Press is not a person. So I'm just going to say the article says. Now, if I had a person's name there, I would say that person says. The article says, quotation mark, and I'm just going to come back here and I'm going to grab the words downplaying the threat, do my Control C again, Control V, says Trump. Now that doesn't quite make sense. The article says, quote, downplaying the threat. So I have to fill in the words to make that make sense. That Trump says Trump has been of COVID, right? Okay, so now I put my example of how it's biased against Trump. And now I need to explain why that's biased against Trump. The word downplaying suggests that Trump is misleading the people in a negative way. Another example of bias is, and here's my other example. I don't like that one that much. I'm going to keep going. Ooh, the news was sure to rattle an already shaking nation, still grappling with how to reopen. I'm going to grab that quote. When the article says, okay, I got my quote. And this shows bias by implying a feeling of fear in America. Whether it's true or not, implying a feeling is definitely showing a bias. Okay, so now you can see how much I wrote. I'm gonna get 10 points for that. That is how you earn 10 points for an extended response. 10 points. That means it's as many points as most quizzes. So I'm going to submit response, and that's there. And now I'm going to go back, and I'm going to do the quiz. Quiz is multiple choice questions. I'm not going to read through the quiz because some of you might do this article, and that would clearly give the answer away. But you just choose on it and press next, okay? So I could go ahead and, just randomly choose ones. And it would tell me at the end how many I got right. So this is how you do a NewsELA. Please do your best on them. The more detailed you are, the more points I can give you, right? Oh, and I do want to say before I leave you, if you're not interested in this, let's say you are just totally done hearing about Trump and you want to hear about something else. You want to hear about something happy. So I'm going to look up the word happy. Happy holidays, happy President's Day. Really? Happy President's Day? That's what I get. That didn't help make me happy. Police officers rescue a girl's birthday. Let's do that one, okay? Now notice, because this was not an assignment, there's nothing telling you what to annotate. So you do have to make those choices about what you're going to annotate. So one way you might choose what to annotate is you could come over here and look at the writing prompt. So the writing prompt says, describe what you think the author's purpose is in writing the text and whether they were successful. So if I were coming through this, then I would go through and highlight things that show the author's purpose and describe what that purpose is when I annotate. Okay, so you can also choose assignments. In addition to search, you can go to news, and that's going to give you the most current events that are happening in the world. So you can look at that. Look, Shakespeare's in the news right now. That's pretty cool. And you can also go to library and look under certain categories for certain things. So let's say that you're wanting to read about history, you can choose history. And they do change these up, the topics in the library, to go with modern events, okay? So that can also be very interesting for you. I hope that this will make NewsELA more useful and help you earn more points. Do your best. Thank you.